Hi,
Hello,
this is Kim,
this is Andy.
and we're going to read to you from the Urantia book. And first, we're going to read to you from Light the Flame by Andrew Harvey. And it's April 8th, and this is from Stevie Smith. Stevie Smith was actually named Florence or something like that. I looked her up. Yeah. And she was a 20th century English poet. Okay, I guess a very, very celebrated lady. I don't know why she picked the name Stevie, but hey, okay, go with it. This is entitled Deathbed of a Financier. Deal not with me, God, as I have dealt with man. In the prosperity which thou hast given me, helpless in his need, a careless course I ran. And now, O Lord, that thou hast driven me to my last gasp, I pray for all I am not worth. Deal not with me as I have dealt on earth. Right. Okay. Do you have to take that?
No,
Hold on a minute. Yeah.
no, that's
Spam.
spam.
That's the spam. Okay. Okay. So clearly this here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Is referring to the greedy capitalist life, now coming face to face with their own demise, or realizing what a empty life he's lived, or she's lived, whoever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Deal not with me as I have dealt on earth. So God is forgiving. If this is you, remember that God is forgiving. God loves you too. And if your heart is sincere, and you're begging for forgiveness, and you're praying not only for soul, but for the help and mercy of those that you've hurt, okay, then you'll be dealt with mercifully. Not that you won't have to go through some of the pain of learning what you need to learn from your mistakes. You've already started down that road. Take heart, take courage, and don't give up. Don't give up. There's just the fact that somebody is praying for this, no matter what they've done, that illuminates the worth of their soul. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Having said that, listen to Stevie's words and make appropriate changes.
Make appropriate changes. That's exactly it, though. Yeah, you will have to do that.
Mm-hmm. You want to do that.
But at least here, your path is clear now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And it's not too late, even on your deathbed. It's not too late. There's worlds after this. There's the Urantia life. You'll have opportunity to rectify all those and come into understanding of the consequences of your actions, and that's painful, but that's justice, and that's redemption also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, so redemption is an apt theme here. That's a beautiful theme. Yeah. Last night we watched Drugstore Cowboy, and that was about redemption.
It was.
Yeah.
We hope.
It was.
Assuming that it ended
Well,
the right way.
You know what? But you don't know.
You don't know.
We have to let go of that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So just like this person here, this financier could be as sorry as he wants to be. But you're right. If he fails to take the appropriate actions associated with that new directive,
Mhm.
then yeah, but that's on him. And that's where we can lead that person to that point.
Mhm.
Or God, not even I can't, but God can lead them to that point. And then it's like, okay, what do you want to do?
Mhm.
It's all on you. It's all you now.
Mhm. Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, very good. So that's entirely appropriate that that movie ended without us knowing which
Mhm.
direction Bob will choose.
Mhm.
See?
Right.
Okay, so we can leave that there. Of course, that's part 3 of the foreword, the first source and center. Okay, do you want to start, Andy?
Sure. Total infinite reality is existential in 7 phases. There's that number again.
There you
And
go.
the 7 coordinate absolutes. The first source and center.
Okay, which is associated with God the Father, right? The first 3 are easy.
2,
Okay.
the second source and center.
The
3,
eternal Son. Yep.
3, the third source and center.
Holy Spirit.
4, the Isle of Paradise. 5, the deity absolute. 6, the universal absolute. 7, the unqualified absolute.
Okay, and these last 3, the Isle of Paradise, of course, is the origin of or the focus of our physical domains, of all physical domains. The Isle of Paradise is the pattern of physicality, and that's not physical itself, but I don't really think it's, I don't know, it's a place. I don't know if it has physicality or this is like, so this, I'm just kind of flowing here. I'm just kind of like, okay, I don't know if this is even valuable, but okay. But the deity absolute I associate with yang. The universal absolute is the unqualified absolute is yin. That's unlimited potential. And the deity absolute is everything that's verifiably good. That's pure, that's right, everything that's right. Okay. And unqualified absolute is all manner of potential, good and bad, everything mixed in. And the universal absolute is like the line between them that separates them. They're always dancing with each other, the yin and the yang. And they're placing their seeds in each other. Now, I come from a Taoist background. I studied Taoism before I found the Urantia book. So that's what makes sense to me. Okay. Do
I
you
don't
feel
have a better interpretation.
right? Okay, so when those things aren't really personal, they're more like forces, but it takes the first source, the second, and the third source to personalize that energy and bring it to you as a message, as something that applies to your life, to your existence.
Mhm.
Okay.
God is the first source and center, is primal in relation to total reality, unqualifiedly,
Unqualifiedly.
the first only by volition. God, the universal Father, is the personality of the first source and center, and as such maintains personal relations of infinite control over all coordinate and subordinate sources and centers. Such control is personal and infinite in potential, even though it may never actually function, owing to the perfection of the fruition of such coordinate and subordinate sources and centers and personalities. The first source and center is therefore primal in all domains, deified or undeified, personal or impersonal, actual or potential, finite or infinite. No thing or being, no relation, no relativity or finality exists except in direct or indirect relation to and dependent on the primacy of the first source and center.
Should I go?
Sure.
The first source and center is related to the universe as 1. The gravity forces of the material universes are convergent in the gravity center of nether paradise. Oh, wait. Yeah, okay. No, I'm reading that. You read that part. Okay, so the gravity is centered of all the 7 super universes and all everything is centered on paradise. That's where the focus of all physical energy being is. Okay? Everything wants to go there.
So it is a physical place.
There is a physical place. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is just why the geographic location of his person is eternally fixed in absolute relation to the force energy center of the nether or material plane of paradise. But the absolute personality of deity exists on the upper or spiritual plane of paradise. Okay?
Okay. The mind forces are convergent in the finite, in the infinite spirit. The differential and divergent cosmic mind in the 7 master spirits. The factualizing mind of the Supreme as a time-space experience in Magistan.
Magistan here that talks about later is the offspring of the God the Supreme, I think. Is that what it is? All right, Magistan. You know, I'm gonna look that up because what Magistan is the the parent of real reflectivity. Okay, so that's the phenomena where you're mirrored. Your opposite is your mirror, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you find these. Yeah, so that's, I'm going to look up Magistan here quick. Right. I know, and they come up with these crazy names for stuff. It's like, okay, wow. So this is a 50th reflective spirit. Focalizes the presence of the supreme mind. The creation of is the only instance of the supreme acting, the supreme level, or I think it's God the Supreme. Is this the same as the supreme being? Yeah, actualized by deity absolute in response to the supreme being. By the deity absolute. So that's the yang portion in response to the creation or the starting up of, and the supreme being is not complete yet. It's still formulating and compiling all these experiences, right? So that has to do with reflection, reflectivity in our relationships and in our communication. Okay. So it's because of Magistan that I can look at you and see me in your eyes.
Okay.
Is that nice?
Mm-hmm. That is nice.
Okay, I know, but it gets freaky. It's like all these words for these high level concepts. Okay. Okay, so where we got the universe, number 3. The universe spirit forces are convergent in the eternal sun. So when you think of the infinite spirit, that's the mind level, and the spirit forces are convergent in the eternal sun. So when I think of spirit forces, I think of all of the parts of all of human nature that is attractive to other spiritual beings.
You just want me to go? No, okay, look, I can go.
It's like okay. And I think of like everybody who's watching that are the fans, but they're participating in this and they're feeling, and the spirit connection of being connected to something that's not really, you know, you, but you're projecting yourself onto that. That's spirit.
Hmm.
That's this,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Okay.
See what I mean? It's not a mental phenomenon. It's largely an emotional connection. It's a feeling of identifying on a primal level with another entity, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And even with animals, we have that feeling of connection with,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or with nature,
Right.
you know, yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that is focalized in the eternal Son, and as such here, you know, in Jesus. So Jesus, in a lot of, I think yeah, we have a sick cat at our house. It's so terrible. Yeah. So I'm identifying with the sick cat. Are you okay? They're gonna go take care of their sick cat. So, okay. Anyway, all right. Okay. So I think Jesus is a focal point of that energy, that we all have this identification with the sufferings of Jesus. And Jesus, in turn, was so identified and so invested in humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And this is reflective of that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Whether the universe, the mental energy that's and science and stuff is more reflective of the energy of the infinite spirit. Okay, that's just my take on it. Okay, and you may have something totally different, but and that's fine. You know, anybody who dares to make an affirmative statement about this material, God bless you, because you're courageous as, you know, as you can be.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's just what I'm reading. Okay. Okay. The unlimited capacity for deity action resides in the deity absolute. Okay, so that's the potential. No, that's not the potential. That's the actuality. The actuality, the action, doing the right thing comes from the deity absolute. The unlimited capacity for infinity response exists in the unqualified absolute. So that's the potential reaction. The two absolutes, qualified and unqualified, are coordinated and unified in and by the universal absolute. So that's again the sinuous line that balances out the right action with the right response. Okay. And those things plant seeds within each other, and they're always merging. It's an engine, it's coming and it's creating everything new. Everything is recycled through this engine continuously.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the potential personality, number 7, the potential personality of an evolutionary moral being or of any other moral being is centered in the personality of the universal Father. Okay, so here we're talking about the Father, the universal Father. The first one we're talking about the nether paradise. Okay, yeah. Okay, the center of physicality. Okay, let's keep going here. I don't want to get too deep in here. I exhaust people when I do that, and I'm sorry if I'm doing that. Okay, go ahead.
Reality, as comprehended by finite beings, is partial, relative, and shadowy. The maximum deity reality, fully comprehensible by evolutionary finite creatures, is embraced within the Supreme Being. Nevertheless, there are antecedent and external realities, super finite realities, which are ancestral to this supreme deity of evolutionary time-space creatures. In attempting to portray the
Origin.
and nature of universal reality, we are forced to employ the technique of time-space reasoning in order to reach the level of that finite mind. Therefore, must many of these simultaneous events of eternity be presented as sequential transactions.
Okay, so this is through a glass darkly, right?
Mhm.
So here we're not capable of seeing everything so clearly. It's just, you know, because of just the nature of our reality, we have to see through all these temporary physical things that hold our attention here. And but at the time, the supreme here, the supreme deity of evolutionary time space creatures, I think that's a reference to the supreme being, God the Supreme. When that's completed, then we'll live in light and life, and we'll be able to see directly into the experience of all of our brother and sister creatures, and we'll understand on levels face to face, right, instead of through a glass darkly, that we're not able to understand now, because I'll be able to see. That's what I imagine the supreme being will do, because he's a God of experience. I'll be able to be connected to all the experiences of God's creatures all over the grand universe, the grand, yeah, universe. Everybody who's open and plugged into that. And it's not that we'll cease to be individual beings. We'll just be connected. Okay.
As a time-space creature would view the origin and differentiation of reality, the eternal and infinite I Am achieved deity, liberation from the
From the fetters.
fetters of unqualified infinity through the exercise of inherent and eternal free will. And this divorcement from unqualified infinity produced the first absolute divinity tension.
Right.
This tension of infinity differential is solved by is resolved by the universal absolute, which functions to unify and coordinate the dynamic infinity of total deity and the true
And the static.
and the static infinity of the unqualified absolute.
Right. So that's fascinating to me, that God, the I Am, the infinite I Am, had to be released from fetters, right? Of being totally alone and totally having this total experience that was everything and it could never be different. It could never be differentiated, because God is everything that is, was everything, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
But all of a sudden, God was like, okay, there's just me, but I want there to be something else. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Let there be something else besides me, besides perfection. Well, what's the only thing that can be besides perfection? Imperfection.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
So he created things that were maybe not as good as he.
To find out who I am, I have to know who I am not.
Eloquently said. Beautiful. Okay, do you want to read this paragraph and I'll start?
In this original transaction, the theoretical I Am achieved the realization of personality by becoming the eternal father of the original Son, simultaneously with becoming the eternal source of the Isle of Paradise. Coexistent with the differentiation of the Son from the Father, and in the presence of paradise,
Mm-hmm.
there appeared the person of the Havona. With the appearance of coexistence, the eternal Son and the infinite Spirit, the Father is from otherwise inevitable diffusion throughout the potential of total deity. Thenceforth, it is only in Trinity association with his two deity equals that the Father fills all deity potential, while increasingly experiential deity is being actualized on the divinity levels of supremacy, ultimacy, and absoluteness.
Right. This whole idea of the Father escaping from its self, right, it came to me in my early 20s, and that was a huge revelation for me then, and that's when I started to study Taoism, and it's really beautiful, and it makes so much sense, and it explains so much about why there's trouble in the world, um, so that God can experience value. God can know itself, and we can know God. I mean, that's the only way that could happen. That's the only way anybody would be able to experience anything. Okay, here we go. The concept of the I am is a philosophic concession which we make to the time-bound, space-fettered, finite mind of man, to the impossibility of creature comprehension of eternity existences, non-beginning, non-ending realities and relationships. To the time-space creature, all things must have a beginning, save only the one uncaused, the primeval cause of causes. Therefore, do we conceptualize this philosophic value level as the I am, at the same time instructing all creatures that the eternal Son and the infinite Spirit are co-eternal with the I am. In other words, that there never was a time when the I am was not the Father of the Son and with him of the Spirit. Okay, so we talk about these things like they're taking place in order, but that's not really it. It's more like,
This is beyond
It's
time and
it's
space.
it's this cycle that's always in full, and all of the parts of it are always happening at the same time, like a wheel that's like a gear shift that's intersecting with the cogs, right? And each one of those spokes on the wheel, the what cogs, like a gear,
Mhm.
each gear is intersecting with its own cog, and each one of those points is happening all the time.
Mhm.
I mean, always, but it's always in motion, it's always turning.
Mhm.
But here, in order to explain it to us, we have to pick a starting point here and say this has happened, then this connects with this one, and then makes this gear turn, and then makes this one go, and then this one,
Right.
But in reality, in ultimate far flung here, it's always been just going like this. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. The infinite is used to denote the fullness, the finality implied by the primacy of the first source and center. The theoretical I am is a creature philosophic extension of the infinity of will. But the infinite is an actual value level representing the eternity intention of the true infinity of the absolute and unfettered free will of the universal Father. This concept is sometimes designated the Father infinite. Much of the confusion of all orders of beings, high and low, in their efforts to discover the Father infinite is inherent in their limitations of comprehension. Okay, because we're simple beings, we don't have the ability to comprehend all of these things. Then we don't trust it. But you have to remember that just because you don't understand something doesn't mean it's not true. I can't see all the molecules in the air bumping up against each other, but I know that I need them to be able to breathe, to live.
Mhm.
I know that. I believe that's true. But I mean, here, you know, because you've been in situations where if you put a hood over your head, you can't breathe as well. Even though there's air inside there, it's stale air, You know these things,
Mhm.
right?
Right, right.
Okay. It just, yeah, faith is a funny thing. Much of the confusion of all orders of beings, high and low, in their efforts to, oh, I did that, discover that is inherent in their limitations of comprehension. We're almost done here. The absolute primacy of the universal Father is not apparent on sub-infinite levels. Therefore, it is probable that only the eternal Son and the infinite Spirit truly know the Father as an infinity. To all other personalities, such a concept represents the exercise of faith. Okay, now that brings to mind, okay, when we fulfill our destiny of being face to face with the Father, what are we going to experience? What is that? What will that be like? I don't think that we'll be able to experience comradeship with the Father the way that the eternal Son and the infinite Spirit do. So we'll be able to experience a portion, a part of that, but even that will be, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Right. Tremendous, incredible.
Mhm.
But here we barely sense this very vague presence, this very, you know.
We're trying to express in our third grade Sunday school understanding the concepts of a doctorate of ministry here.
Oh,
We
yeah.
know there's so much out there that we have trouble even talking about, but that doesn't mean it's not there.
Doesn't mean it's
Doesn't-
not there.
It's just simply beyond our understanding
Yeah.
presently.
I've said before, we're like a bunch of ants that happen to, one of them got flipped over on his back and looked up at the moon and said, I want to go there. Let's go there. Yeah, trying to get to the moon. Ants trying to get to the moon. Right? How do you get your buddies to even look up like that? The ants don't look up. Right?
Right. Right.
Okay. All right. This is so awesome. All right. Well, thank you very much for staying with us. That was great. And we will continue with the forward tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Have a great day.
Have a great day.